Ceres in the sixth house of a natal chart represents a profound intersection between the archetype of the Great Mother and the realm of daily labor, physical health, and ritualized service. To understand this placement, one must first look at Ceres, the dwarf planet representing unconditional love, the cycle of loss and return, and the way we provide and receive nourishment. When she resides in the sixth house, the house of Virgo and Mercury, the act of nurturing ceases to be a purely emotional abstraction and becomes a practical, tangible necessity. The sanctity of the daily grind. For an individual with Ceres in the sixth house, the ordinary is where the soul finds its greatest sustenance. While others might look for fulfillment in grand romances or career accolades, you find it in the quiet hum of a well-organized morning routine. There is a deep-seated need to feel useful. For you, to care is to do. You likely express your affection through acts of service, fixing a broken shelf, prepping a healthy meal, or organizing a loved one's chaotic schedule. This placement suggests that your sense of self-worth is intrinsically tied to your productivity and your ability to keep the machinery of life running smoothly. When your environment is in disarray, your emotional well-being often follows suit. You don't just prefer order, you crave it as a form of emotional security. Nurturing through nature and nutrition. The sixth house governs the physical body and how we maintain it. With Ceres here, there is often a heightened sensitivity to what is put into the body. You may find that you possess a natural affinity for nutrition, herbalism, or holistic healing. You are the person friends turn to for advice on supplements or the best way to break a fever naturally. However, this sensitivity is a double-edged sword. Because Ceres represents the cycle of Proserpina, the harvest and the winter, your health can be intensely reactive to your emotional state. Stress doesn't just stay in your head, it migrates to your stomach or your immune system. Learning to nurture your own body with the same devotion you give to your work or your pets is your primary life lesson. The workplace is a family system. In the professional sphere, Ceres in the sixth house manifests as the office parent or the indispensable stabilizer. You have a unique ability to nurture your colleagues and create an environment where people feel cared for. You don't just want a paycheck, you want a vocation that allows you to improve the lives of others. There is a risk here, though, of over-identifying with your role. Because Ceres involves the theme of attachment and loss, you might struggle with workplace grief. If a project fails or a colleague leaves, you may feel it as a personal bereavement. You must be careful not to mother your coworkers to the point of burnout or to allow your identity to be entirely swallowed by your to-do list. Relationship with pets and small animals. The sixth house is traditionally associated with small animals, and Ceres here often indicates a person for whom pets are not just companions, but surrogate children or vital emotional anchors. You may find that your most profound experiences of giving and receiving unconditional love occur with animals. Caring for a pet provides you with the rhythmic, daily ritual that Ceres craves, offering a sense of purpose that is grounding and restorative. The shadow side, perfectionism and control. The shadow of Ceres in the sixth house is a tendency towards smothering through micromanagement. In your quest to nurture, you might become overly critical of how others handle their health or their work. If you feel unappreciated for your service, you may fall into a martyr complex, feeling as though you are the only one keeping the world from falling apart. True healing for this placement comes when you realize that the harvest will come even if you aren't constantly tilling the soil. You must learn to integrate the winter of the sixth house, the times of rest, illness, or inactivity, without feeling like you have lost your value. Conclusion. Ultimately, Ceres in the sixth house is a call to find the divine in the detail. It is a placement of the healer servant who understands that a well-made bowl of soup or a meticulously organized desk is an act of love. By treating your daily life as a sacred ritual and your body as a temple worthy of care, you bridge the gap between the mundane and the miraculous. You teach the rest of the world that the most profound nurturing doesn't happen in a vacuum, it happens in the way we show up for life, one small, dedicated task at a time. To understand how Ceres in the sixth house expresses itself across the zodiac, it is best to group them by element. The element of the sign determines the flavor of the service provided and the specific way the individual seeks to stay healthy and productive. The earth signs, the practical providers. Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. When Ceres is in an earth sign in the 6th house, the focus is on the physical world and tangible results. These individuals nurture through material stability and high standards of craftsmanship. Taurus, nurturing is found in the sensory details of the workday. They may bring plants into the office or focus on food-based wellness. They need a steady, predictable pace to feel emotionally secure and may struggle with rushing at work. Virgo, this is a double down on the 6th house themes. They find deep emotional satisfaction in precision, editing, and refining. They are the ultimate healers, but they must be careful not to let perfectionism become a form of self-punishment. Capricorn, service is expressed through structure and mentorship. They nurture by providing a solid foundation for others to climb. They often feel most loved when they are given a position of responsibility or a difficult task to master. The air signs, the intellectual healers. Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. For those with Ceres in an air sign, the 6th house becomes a hub of communication and social exchange. Nurturing is something done with the mind and through the spoken word. Gemini, they stay healthy by staying curious. Their daily bread is information. They nurture others by sharing facts, tips, or shortcuts. Their work environment must be mentally stimulating, or they risk nervous exhaustion. Aquarius, service is viewed through a humanitarian lens. They nurture the collective rather than just the individual. They may be drawn to innovative or tech-based wellness trends and need a high degree of autonomy in their daily schedule to feel cared for. The fire signs, the energetic motivators. Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. In fire signs, Ceres in the 6th house manifests as a need for passion and movement in the daily routine. These individuals nurture through encouragement and leading by example. Aries, they find nourishment in starting new projects and taking the lead. They nurture others by defending them or motivating them to take action. Their health routine is often vigorous. They burn off emotional stress through intense physical activity. Leo, work must be a form of creative expression. They nurture their subordinates or coworkers by celebrating their successes and bringing heart to the office. They need to feel that their daily labor is a unique reflection of their identity. Sagittarius, nurturing comes through the expansion of horizons. They may be the person who brings philosophical insights or a sense of humor to a stressful workplace. They find healing through travel or the study of foreign cultures and belief systems. The water signs, the empathic caretakers. Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. In water signs, the 6th house becomes a place of deep emotional intuition. These individuals sense the needs of others before a word is even spoken. Cancer, the office literally becomes a home. They are the ones who bring in homemade snacks and check in on everyone's emotional state. Their own health is highly susceptible to the vibe of their environment. They absorb the stress of those around them. Scorpio, they nurture through transformation and shadow work. They aren't afraid to deal with the messy or difficult aspects of service, such as crisis counseling or intensive care. They seek a deep, almost obsessive connection to their daily tasks. Pisces, this is the placement of the spiritual servant. They nurture through compassion and often work in roles involving sacrifice or behind-the-scenes care. They must be careful to set boundaries, as they can easily lose themselves in the needs of the people or animals they serve. When Ceres, the dwarf planet of nourishment, cycles, and unconditional love, transits through your 6th house, the focus of your life shifts from abstract desires to the concrete reality of your daily existence. This is a period of sacred maintenance. While Ceres in the natal chart shows how you are wired to care, a transit of Ceres represents a seasonal shift in your environment, a time when the universe asks you to reevaluate how you sustain your body, your work, and your spirit. The call to physical stewardship. The 6th house is the laboratory of the zodiac. It is where we test what works and what doesn't. When Ceres enters this space, she brings a maternal lens to your physical health. You may find yourself suddenly more aware of your body's rhythms, how it responds to the food you eat, the hours you sleep, and the quality of the air you breathe. During this transit, self-care stops being a luxury and becomes a necessity. This isn't about spa days, it's about the unattractive but essential work of healing. It's a time to address chronic issues, refine your diet, or establish a routine that respects your energy levels rather than fighting against them. You are being asked to treat your body not as a machine to be pushed, but as a living system that requires gentle, consistent cultivation. Finding meaning in the mundane. In the realm of work and service, a Ceres transit can be remarkably grounding. It often brings a period where you feel a deeper emotional connection to your tasks. You might find yourself wanting to mother your projects or take better care of your colleagues. The to-do list becomes a way of providing for yourself and others. However, because Ceres is also the goddess of the harvest and the winter, this transit can highlight imbalances in your labor. The harvest, you may see the fruits of a long-term health or work routine finally paying off. The winter, you might experience a period of workplace grief or burnout, where you realize that you have been giving too much without being nourished in return. This transit often marks the moment you decide to quit a toxic job or set firmer boundaries with people who treat your service as an entitlement rather than a gift. Ceres in the 6th house transit is an invitation to turn your daily habits into rituals. Under this influence, the act of making tea, walking the dog, or cleaning your desk can become a form of meditation. This is also a prime time for connecting with pets. If you've been considering adopting an animal, Ceres transiting the 6th house is one of the most supportive windows for it. The relationship between human and animal perfectly mirrors the Ceres archetype, a bond based on silent, consistent, and unconditional care. Key lessons of the transit. 1. Productivity is not worth. Ceres teaches us that we are worthy even when the fields are fallow. This transit may force you to slow down through a minor illness or a lull in work to remind you that your value is not measured solely by your output. When you organize your life during this transit, do it as a gift to your future self. Organizing your taxes or meal prepping isn't just about being good, it's about reducing the future stress on your nervous system. 3. Service with boundaries. You will feel a stronger urge to help others during this time. The lesson of Ceres is to ensure you aren't eating your own seed corn. Help others, but ensure your own cupboard is stocked first. Conclusion. A Ceres transit through the 6th house is a quiet, powerful time of realignment. It asks you to look at the small things, the habits, the chores, the minor aches, and see them as the building blocks of a soulful life. By the time Ceres leaves this house, you should have a clearer understanding of what your daily bread truly is and how to ensure you never go hungry for the things that actually sustain you. Subscribe, like, and share.